Korean Mafia runs into his 7 months heavily pregnant ex-wife working in a bar. She set the whiskey bottle down with shaking hands, keeping her eyes on the table. She could feel his gaze burning into her before she even looked up. Miare, that voice, that name in his mouth after 6 months of silence made her blood run cold. She tried to step back. His hand shot out and caught her wrist. Not hard, but she was not going anywhere. Look at me. She looked up. Jin-woo's gray eyes were darker than she remembered. Dangerous. The entire VIP section had gone silent. His men were watching, waiting. How far along are you? I do not know what you are talking about. He stood up slowly, all 6 feet of him. The kind of man who made people disappear with a phone call. But his hand on her wrist was trembling. Do not lie to me, Miare. I have killed men for less. But you, I could never hurt you. Now tell me, how far along? 7 months. He went completely still. She watched him count backwards in his head. Watched the realization hit him like a bullet. You have been carrying my child for 7 months. And you did not tell me. Your sister told me everything. About how I was an embarrassment. About the proper Korean woman you were supposed to marry. About how you were too honorable to tell me yourself that I was a mistake. What? The word came out like gravel. Like violence barely contained. I never wanted you gone. I tore this city apart looking for you. The woman sitting next to him finally spoke. Tall, beautiful, expensive jewelry dripping from her neck. Everything Miare could never be. Jin-woo, what is happening? Who is this person? He did not even look at her. Everyone out. Out. The woman opened her mouth to protest. Jin-woo turned his head slightly, and the look in his eyes made her grab her purse and leave. His men followed without a word. In less than 30 seconds, the VIP section was empty except for the 2 of them. Now I need you to pause for a second, because this is not just a story about a mafia boss finding his ex-wife. This is about family honor, deadly lies, and a woman who spent 6 months hiding from the most dangerous man in Seoul's underworld. Not because he wanted to hurt her, but because she believed every word his family told her. She believed she was not good enough. She believed he never loved her. And she believed the divorce papers with his signature were real. Before we go any further, make sure you are subscribed. Because what happens next is going to leave you absolutely speechless. Let me take you back to where this all began. Gangnam District, Seoul, where the buildings touch the sky and a single apartment can cost more than most people make in a lifetime. Where power is not measured in money but in territory and respect. And where the Beck family controls everything that happens after dark. Club Azure sits in the heart of Gangnam. 5 floors of luxury. Crystal chandeliers imported from Italy. Marble floors so polished you can see your reflection. The kind of place where businessmen bring clients they want to impress and celebrities come when they want privacy. But everyone who works there knows the real truth. Club Azure belongs to the Beck family. And the Beck family belongs to Jin-woo. Somewhere on the 3rd floor, in a section reserved for VIP guests who spend more in one night than she makes in a month, was Amara G. But everyone called her Miare now. 7 months pregnant. Feet swelling inside cheap heels that were 2 sizes too small because she could not afford new ones. Balancing trays of drinks that cost more than her rent. She had learned very quickly how to survive in this world. Keep your head down. Smile when they expect you to smile. Move fast. Stay invisible. Rich people do not really see the staff anyway. They see the service. They see the drinks appearing like magic. But they do not see you. And for Miare, that invisibility was the only thing keeping her alive. Because technically, she should not even be in Korea. Her tourist visa had expired 4 months ago. She had no family here. No real friends she could trust. No safety net. Just a baby growing inside her and a desperate need to keep them both alive until she figured out what to do next. Every night was exactly the same. Work the shift. Dodge the hands that grab too freely. Smile through the comments about her body. Collect tips. Take the last train to Itaewon. Walk up 4 flights of stairs because the elevator was always broken. Unlock the door to a room so small she could touch both walls if she stretched out her arms. Cry herself to sleep with one hand on her belly. Wake up. Do it all again. The Gaziwan she lived in was meant for students studying for exams. Tiny rooms with shared bathrooms and a communal kitchen that always smelled like kimchi and instant noodles. The walls were so thin she could hear every conversation in the building, every argument, every sob, every moment of other people's lives bleeding into hers. Some nights, when the baby kicked and she could not sleep, she would whisper to her belly, "I am so sorry, baby. You deserve so much better than this. Your father is a dangerous man, powerful man, but I thought he loved me. I really thought he loved me." She would touch her stomach gently. "I am going to figure this out. Promise. I am going to give you a good life somehow." But she had no idea how. She just knew she had to keep moving forward. One day at a time. One shift at a time. One moment at a time. Mireille had come to Korea 2 years ago with such different dreams. She was Korean American. Born in Los Angeles to parents who had left Seoul before she was born. She spoke Korean but with an accent that marked her as foreign. She understood the culture but not deeply enough to ever truly belong. A Jyopo, forever caught between two worlds. Never quite American enough. Never quite Korean enough. She had come to find her roots. To understand where her family came from. To maybe find a place where she fit. She got a job teaching English. She explored the city. She fell in love with Seoul's energy. The way tradition and modernity existed side by side. The way the city never slept. And then she met Jin-woo. It was not supposed to happen. She was teaching English to businessmen at a private academy in Gangnam. He walked in one day, late, unapologetic, sat in the back of the class and stared at her the entire 2 hours. After class, he approached her. "Dinner. Excuse me? Have dinner with me. I do not date students. I am not really a student. I am here because I owe someone a favor. But I saw you and I needed to meet you." She should have said no. Should have recognized the danger in his eyes. The edge of violence that clung to him like expensive cologne. But there was something else there too. Something lonely. Something searching. She said yes. Within 3 months they were married. Not because of love at first. His father was dying. Traditional. Old school. Wanted his son settled before he passed. Jin-woo needed a wife. Mireille needed a visa. It was transactional at first. Convenient. But somewhere in those early months something real started to grow. Late night conversations. The way he looked at her like she was the only person in the room. The way he learned to make her coffee exactly how she liked it. Small moments that built into something bigger. His father died happy, believing his son had found a good Korean woman to carry on the family name. The fact that Mireille was American-born did not matter to him. She was Korean by blood. That was enough. But it was not enough for Jin-woo's family. His sister, Soo-jin, made that very clear from the beginning. The sneering looks. The comments in Korean just fast enough that Mireille could not quite catch all the words. The way she would switch to formal language that put distance between them. "You do not belong here. You will never be one of us." But Jin-woo had defended her. Always. He shut down his sister's comments. He made it clear Mireille was his wife and anyone who disrespected her answered to him. And for a while that was enough. For a while, Mireille actually believed she had found her place. She had found home. Until she had not. Started small. Jin-woo working later and later. Coming home smelling like perfume that was not hers. His phone ringing at odd hours with calls he would take in another room. She told herself it was just business. He ran a dangerous empire. Of course there were secrets. Then Soo-jin showed up at the apartment one afternoon when Jin-woo was gone. She had photos. Printed. Professional. Jin-woo at a charity gala with a woman on his arm. Beautiful. Elegant. Korean in a way Mireille would never be. More photos. Different events. Always the same woman. Yuna Kong. Daughter of the Kong family. Another powerful clan. This is who he was supposed to marry. Before your little arrangement. Our families have been planning this alliance for years. You were just a temporary solution to make father happy before he died. That is not true. Jin-woo loves me. Soo-jin laughed. It was not a kind sound. Jin-woo is too honorable to tell you the truth. That you were a mistake. That you embarrass him in front of his real family. So I am telling you, leave, quietly. We will make sure you are taken care of financially. But you need to disappear. Mireille had refused. told Su-jin to leave, waited for Jin-woo to come home so she could ask him directly. But he did not come home that night, or the next night, and when Su-jin came back, she had divorce papers. Jin-woo's signature at the bottom. Sharp, decisive, real. He already signed. He is just too polite to serve them to you himself. So I am doing it for him. Sign. Leave. Let him live the life he was meant to live. Mireille had stared at that signature for hours. It looked real. It looked like his handwriting. And he had not been home in 3 days. Had not called. Had not texted. She signed. She packed everything she owned into 2 suitcases. She left her key on the counter. She walked out of the luxury apartment in Hanamdong and took a taxi to the cheapest hotel she could find in Itaewon. She cried for 2 days straight. And then she found out she was pregnant. She had tried to tell him. Called his number. It was disconnected. Went to his office. Security would not let her up. She realized then that Su-jin had been thorough. She had cut off every avenue, every connection. Mireille was erased from Jin-woo's life as completely as if she had never existed. So she did the only thing she could do. She survived. She found work at Club Azure because they paid in cash and did not ask too many questions. She moved into the Gaziwan because it was cheap and the owner did not care about expired visas as long as rent was paid on time. She learned to live on convenience store kimbap and instant ramen. She learned to ignore the ache in her feet and the exhaustion that never went away. She learned to be invisible. For 6 months, this was her life. For 6 months. She convinced herself this was all she deserved. That night started like every other night. Her manager, a thin man with cold eyes and quick hands, handed her the VIP section assignment. Table 12. High-profile clients. Big spenders. Do not mess this up. She nodded. Smoothed down her uniform even though it was getting too tight across her swelling belly. Took a breath. Picked up the tray of premium whiskey and expensive mixers. She walked toward the VIP section on the 5th floor. The elevator ride felt too short. The hallway felt too long. She could hear music thumping through the walls. Laughter. The sounds of people with too much money and not enough problems. She pushed through the heavy velvet curtain that separated VIP from the rest of the club. And her entire world stopped. Jin-woo sat at the center table like a king holding court. Dark suit that probably cost more than she would make in a year. Hair pushed back from his face. Those sharp gray eyes that used to look at her like she was everything. And on his arm, touching him with casual familiarity, was Yuna Kong. Mireille's first instinct was to run. Turn around. Disappear. Let someone else take this table. But her manager was watching from the corner. And she needed this job. She needed the money. She needed to survive. So she walked forward. Each step felt impossible. The baby kicked hard against her ribs like they could sense her panic. She pressed her free hand against her belly, trying to calm them both down. Just drop the drinks and leave. He probably will not even look at you. She reached the table, kept her eyes down. Professional. Detached. Your drinks. She set the bottle down carefully. Her hands only shook a little. Is there anything else I can get for you? She made the mistake of looking up. Jin-woo was already staring at her. And the expression on his face was something she had never seen before. Shock. Then recognition. Then something that looked almost like pain. Mireille. Her name in his voice after 6 months of silence almost broke her right there. She tried to step back. His hand shot out and caught her wrist. Not painful. Just stopping her from running. How far along are you? I do not know what you are talking about. Do not. His voice dropped lower. Dangerous. Do not lie to me. How far along? The truth came out in a whisper. 7 months. She watched him process it. Watched his eyes drop to her belly then snap back to her face. Watched him do the math in his head. His grip on her wrist tightened slightly. You left. The words came out rough. Like they hurt to say. Your sister made it very clear what you wanted. She showed me the photos. Told me I was an embarrassment. That you had already moved on with someone more appropriate. She glanced at Yuna. What photos? You and her. Charity events. Galas. Looking like you belonged together. I never touched her. Those were business obligations. Family alliances. Nothing more. Your signature was on the divorce papers, Jin-woo. I saw it myself. I never signed anything. His voice was absolute. Final. I told my sister I would burn this entire city down before I signed those papers. If she filed anything, she forged my signature. And when I find her, she is going to wish I was a more forgiving man. That is impossible. Is it? You know what my family is capable of. You know how much they hated that I chose you. Yuna finally spoke up, her voice sharp with irritation and confusion. Jinwoo, what is going on? Who is this woman? He did not even look at her when he answered. Leave. Excuse me? We have an arrangement between our families. Jinwoo turned to look at her and his expression was ice. Pure. Cold. Lethal. This woman is my wife. That baby she is carrying is my child. My heir. And if you say one more word about her, I will make sure your father's business holdings disappear overnight. Every single one. Now leave. Before I forget my manners completely. Yuna went pale. She opened her mouth, closed it, then grabbed her designer purse and walked out on heels that clicked like gunshots against the marble floor. Jinwoo turned back to Miare. His expression softened but only slightly. We need to talk. I am working. Not anymore. You cannot just decide that. Watch me. He pulled out his phone and made a call. She could only catch pieces of it because he spoke in rapid Korean. But she heard enough. Words like acquisition and immediately and full ownership transfer. He hung up and looked past her to where the manager was watching with growing horror. I just bought this club. Effective immediately. You are fired. The rest of the staff will get proper contracts and triple wages starting tomorrow. Security will escort you out. The manager started to protest. Jinwoo gave him one look and the man walked away. We are leaving. Miare wanted to argue. Wanted to maintain some shred of independence. But her feet were screaming. Her back ached. The baby was kicking relentlessly. And she was so tired of fighting alone. Fine. But this does not mean anything. We will see about that. His hand moved to the small of her back. Gentle. Protective. Like she was something precious that might break. He guided her toward the exit. His men materialized from nowhere, forming a protective circle around them as they walked through the club. People stared, whispered, but no one approached. No one dared. The car was waiting outside. Black Mercedes. Tinted windows so dark you could not see inside. He helped her in carefully, his hand supporting her elbow like she might shatter. The interior smelled like leather and his cologne. That same scent she used to fall asleep breathing in. And suddenly she was drowning in memories she had spent 6 months trying to bury. They drove in silence through Seoul. She stared out the window watching the city blur past. Gangnam's bright lights giving way to the quieter streets of Hanamdong. She could feel him watching her. Finally he spoke. Where have you been living? Itaewon. Where in Itaewon? Does it matter? Yes. Agazuan near the station. She heard him inhale sharply. When she glanced over, his knuckles were white on the steering wheel. Agazuan. You have been living in Agazuan. Pregnant. Alone. It was all I could afford. You should not have had to afford anything. You are my wife. Ex-wife. According to the papers your sister showed me. Those papers were fake. We are still married, Miare. We were always married. He pulled into an underground garage she recognized. The building she used to live in. The penthouse that had briefly been her home. Cannot go back there. You are not going back. You never left. Not really. The elevator ride up felt like traveling through time. 40 floors of memories. Of a life she thought she had lost. The doors opened directly into the penthouse. She stepped inside and immediately her eyes started burning with tears. Because everything was exactly the same. Her books on the shelf organized by color the way she liked them. Her plants by the windows. Not just alive but thriving. Green and healthy and clearly cared for. Her blanket folded over the couch exactly where she always left it. Even her slippers were by the door. You kept everything. Of course I did. He stood behind her. Close but not touching. I knew you would come back. Or I would find you. Either way, this was always your home. She walked to the bookshelf and ran her fingers along the spines. Korean language books. Photography collections. Novels she had been in the middle of reading. My plants are alive. I watched YouTube videos. Set reminders on my phone. Your snake plant almost died twice, but I saved it. Despite everything, she smiled. You talked to my plants. You always said it helped them grow. I was not taking any chances. She turned to face him, and they were suddenly very close. Close enough to see the new lines around his eyes. The exhaustion etched into his face. You look tired. I have not slept properly in 6 months. Turns out I got used to someone next to me. Jinwoo, stay. Just for tonight. Let me make sure you and the baby are safe. Let me prove I meant what I said. She should have said no. Should have protected herself. But she was so tired, and this place still felt like home. Okay. Tonight. Tonight is the start. If this story is hitting you right in your feelings, do me a favor and drop a comment below. Tell me what you would do in Miare's situation. Would you give him a second chance? And make sure you hit that like button, because what happens next is going to change everything. He ordered food. Real food. Samjitang. Banchan. Fresh rice. More than she had eaten in one sitting in months. He watched her eat like she was starving. Because she was. When did you last have a proper meal? She did not answer. Could not answer without crying. He pulled out his phone and made another call. I need you at the penthouse. Now. Yes, I know what time it is. This is an emergency. 20 minutes later, his private doctor arrived. A woman in her 50s with kind eyes and efficient hands. She examined Miare while Jinwoo paced outside the bedroom like a caged animal. His men had never seen him like this. Agitated. Afraid. When the doctor emerged, her face was serious. How bad is it? She is severely malnourished. Her iron levels are dangerously low. She is anemic. And she is showing early signs of preeclampsia. Jinwoo went completely still. The kind of still that came before violence. What does that mean? It means another few weeks of the stress she was under, and we could have been looking at serious complications. Premature labor. Possibly organ failure. Possibly fatal. For her and the baby. The room felt too cold suddenly. But she is going to be okay now? With complete rest, proper nutrition, and careful monitoring, yes. But she cannot work. She cannot stress. She needs peace and stability for the next 2 months until the baby comes. She will have whatever she needs. Money is not an issue. Money cannot fix this, Mr. Beck. She needs peace. She needs to feel safe. She needs someone making sure she takes care of herself. Done. After the doctor left, Jinwoo stood at the window for a long time without saying anything. She could see his reflection in the glass, the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands were clenched into fists. Say it. He turned to look at her. You could have died. But I did not. You could have died, Miare. Our baby could have died. Because my family decided you were not good enough. His voice was shaking. She almost killed you both. Jinwoo, I am okay now. You are not okay. You are malnourished and sick and showing signs of a condition that could have killed you. That is not okay. He crossed the room and knelt in front of her, took her hands in his. This man who knelt for no one. I am going to make them pay for this. All of them. What are you going to do? Whatever I have to. He stood up and pulled out his phone, made a series of calls, each one more brutal than the last. She watched him systematically dismantle his sister's entire life with 6 phone calls, cut her access to all family accounts. Effective immediately. I do not care what mother says. Do it. Pause. Remove her from the company board. Yes, I know the bylaws. Change them. I own controlling interest. Another pause. The apartment in Cheongdam-dong. It is in my name. I want her out by tomorrow morning. She can go to Busan. I do not care where. Just away from Seoul. He made one more call. This one to the police. I need to report document fraud. Forged signatures on legal documents. Yes, I know who did it. My sister, Baek Soo-jin. I want charges filed. Jinwoo, stop. He looked at her. She needs to face consequences. Destroying her life will not change what happened. No, but it will make sure she never has the power to hurt you again. Hurt us again. He made 2 more calls. By the time he was done, Soo-jin had no money, no position, and was facing criminal charges. It is done. He sat down next to her and she could see his hands shaking. I need you to understand something. I am not a good man. I have done terrible things. But you make me want to be better. You and this baby are my chance at something real. His phone rang. He looked at the screen and his expression went dark. It is her. Do not answer. He answered it. Put it on speaker. Sujin's voice filled the room. Cold and sharp and furious. What do you think you are doing? Correcting a mistake. A mistake? Jinwoo, I am your sister. You cannot just destroy my life like this. Watch me. This is about that Gyopo girl, is not it? That American who was never good enough for our family. Jinwoo's jaw clenched, but his voice stayed calm. Deadly calm. Her name is Mia. She is my wife. And you are going to apologize to her. Sujin laughed. Actually laughed. I will do no such thing. I did what was best for you. For our family. That girl was ruining everything father built. You forged my signature. You filed false documents. You lied to both of us. I saved you from making the biggest mistake of your life. No. His voice dropped to something inhuman. The biggest mistake of my life was trusting you. Was believing you when you said she left on her own. Was not seeing through your manipulation sooner. You are done, Sujin. Done in Seoul. Done in this family. You have 24 hours to leave the city. After that, if I see you, sister or not, I will forget we share blood. You would choose her over your own family? She is my family. She is carrying my child. You are nothing to me now. He hung up, turned off his phone, and threw it across the room where it shattered against the wall. Mia had never seen him lose control like that. Never seen his hands shake or his breathing go ragged. Are you okay? No, but I will be. He sat down next to her and put his head in his hands. I keep thinking about what could have happened. If I had not gone to that club last night, if I had not found you, you could have collapsed. The baby could have come early with no one to help you. I might have never known I had a daughter. Wait, daughter? She felt her heart skip. You said daughter. He looked up at her. The doctor told me. I asked her to check. I hope that is okay. Mia started crying. Not sad tears. Something else. We are having a daughter. Yes, we are having a daughter. He reached out and touched her belly gently. The baby kicked against his palm like she recognized him. She knows your voice. I have been talking to her. Every night for 6 months. Telling her about her mother. Promising her I would find you both. Over the next few weeks they fell into a careful routine. He worked from home. Cooked for her even though he was terrible at it. Made sure she took her vitamins. Made sure she rested. Made sure she knew she was safe. One morning she woke up to find him sitting by the window watching the sunrise over Seoul. What are you thinking about? He turned to look at her. I want to marry you again. What? A real wedding this time. Traditional Korean ceremony. Haebik. Everything proper. I want to choose you in front of everyone. We are already married. Legally, yes. But I want to do it right. I want to stand in front of people and choose you. Not because of my father. Not because of obligation. Because I love you and I want the world to know it. He crossed to the bed and knelt beside it. Pulled out a small box. Inside was a jade ring. Old, beautiful, precious. My grandmother's ring. I have been carrying it for 4 months. Marry me again, Mia. Let me prove I deserve you. What if you're family objects? I do not have a family anymore. I have you, and our daughter. That is all that matters. She looked at this man who had destroyed his own sister to protect her. Who had kept her plants alive and her home waiting. Who looked at her like she was everything. Yes, his whole face changed. Relief and hope and something that looked like joy. He slid the ring onto her finger and kissed her. Gentle at first, then deeper. The baby kicked between them and they both laughed. She approves. She better. I am going to spoil her endlessly. But before the wedding could happen, everything went wrong. Jinwoo had a meeting across town. Business he could not avoid. He left her with security. With strict instructions. With promises to be back in 2 hours. He was gone for 30 minutes when his father's men came. They were polite, respectful even, but firm. The elder Mr. Beck requests your presence. I am not going anywhere. Please do not make this difficult. We have orders. The stress of it triggered something. Her stomach cramped. Hard. She gasped. Something is wrong. One of the men pulled out his phone. Called Jinwoo. She could hear him answer. Hear the panic in his voice. Where is she? Sir, there has been a complication. She is in labor. We are taking her to the hospital now. You touch her and I will kill every single one of you. I am 10 minutes away. Do not move. He made it in 7 minutes. Came through the door like a force of nature. Scooped her up. Carried her to the car himself. I am here. I am not leaving you. Ever. At the hospital, everything happened fast. Emergency cesarean. The baby was coming early. Stress-induced labor. Dangerous for both of them. Jinwoo scrubbed in. Refused to leave her side. Held her hand through everything. You can do this. You are the strongest person I have ever known. I am scared. Me too. But we are doing this together. At 4:37 in the afternoon, their daughter came into the world. Tiny, early, but screaming with healthy lungs. The nurse placed her on Mireille's chest and the whole world stopped. Hi, baby girl. We have been waiting for you. Jinwoo touched his daughter's tiny hand with one finger. She grabbed it immediately. He started crying. This dangerous man. This killer. Crying over his newborn daughter. She is perfect. Just like her mother. They named her Hyun Grace Beck. Korean and American. Both worlds. Both parts of who they were. 2 months later, they had their wedding. Traditional piebeek ceremony. Small and intimate. Only people who loved them. Jinwoo's father was not invited. Neither was Sujin. This was their family now. Their choice. Mireille wore crimson and gold hanbok. Jinwoo wore traditional dress. Hyun was there in a tiny hanbok, sleeping through the whole ceremony. When it was time for vows, Jinwoo spoke in Korean, then English. 2 years ago I married you because my father commanded it. Today I marry you because my heart demands it. You are my past, my present, my future. You and Hyun are everything I never knew I needed. I vow to protect you, honor you, and love you until my last breath. Mireille was crying before she even started. 2 years ago I thought love was about fitting into your world. Today I know it is about building our own. You are my home, Jinwoo. You and Hyun. I choose you. In this life and the next. They bowed to each other. Shared the traditional wedding cup. Hyun woke up and cried right on cue. Everyone laughed. She has her mother's timing. And her father's attitude. That night, they stood on the rooftop of their penthouse. Seoul stretched out below them. Hyun asleep in her bassinet. The whole city glittering like stars had fallen to earth. Any regrets? Not a single one. I love you, Mireille. I love you too. He pulled her close. She rested her head on his chest. Their daughter slept peacefully. The dangerous world below. Their peaceful world above. The balance he had finally found. Some love stories are gentle. This one was forged in blood and lies and the dangerous underworld of Seoul's crime families. But it was real. And it was worth every painful moment. Mireille learned that sometimes the most dangerous man in the world is the safest place to fall. Jinwoo learned that true power is not control. It is the courage to be vulnerable with the one person who sees all of you. If the story moved you, share it with someone who needs to believe in second chances. Drop a comment and tell me what lesson you are taking away from their story. Hit that subscribe button for more stories that prove love can survive anything. And remember, your story is not over yet. Sometimes the darkest chapters lead to the most beautiful endings.